Reason is that small as compared to the entirety of life. A very warm welcome to all of you in this warm Monday evening meditation session with me, Dhyanse. Before we go into the session today, I would like you to close your eyes, keep your hands open in your lap, and just take the next minutes to contemplate about a couple of questions. What is the purpose of life? More specifically, what is the purpose of your life? Give yourself just a couple of minutes to contemplate and just be with this question: what is the purpose of your life? Keep your eyes closed, hands open, either in your lap or on your thighs. Now gently open your eyes. You must be wondering, what is a rose petal doing in the palm of your hands? By the way, Christine put it, it's no magic, so it was just Christine walking around. For today's meditation session, the sutra that we are going to practice is: be like this rose petal in the palm of the hands, of your hands. So be like this rose petal in the palm of the existence, That's the meditation sutra that we are going to practice today. I asked you to contemplate about this question, what is the purpose of your life? I'm sure you have had this question several times in your life, at least once, right? I hope everyone asked oneself, what is the purpose of my life, once in a while. How do we answer that? What do we do when we have this question? We ask ourselves, we ask others, we look for answers in books, we look for answers in religion, we look for answers elsewhere. We keep on looking for answers, and then we choose the answer that sometimes looks appealing, and then we say, okay, that's the purpose of my life. And then we continue that idea that that's the purpose of my life for a while, until one day you realize that's not good enough. And then the question comes again, what is the purpose of my life? And then you go again looking for that answer. You ask yourself, you ask outside, you look into books, you look into other people's talks. You constantly try to look for that answer. I don't have that answer for you, but from this session, out of my own meditations, what I can share with you is few realizations that I had out of my own life, out of my own question, what is the purpose of my life? Maybe those revelations will give you some clues for your own life, or at least they'll help you immensely to sit in meditation. One of the first revelations when I asked myself, what is the purpose of my life, and I meditated over this question, I tried to inquire, where is this question coming from? Is this question coming from my heart, my soul, my mind? Where is this question coming from? So, one of the revelations for me was that this question, it's an intellectual question. It comes out of the mind. It's not coming out of the heart. It's not coming out of the spirit. This question comes out of the mind. Why is that this question comes out of the mind? That's another question. It's because we are so rooted in reasoning. Our mind is only functioning in reasoning. For our daily lifestyle, we need reasoning to operate things. There is a reason why there is a tram, there is a reason why there is this building, there's a reason to everything. And we are so used to reasoning that we try to even approach life with reasoning. We try to find the reason. Out of this reasoning, out of this mind that is taking the shape of reasoning, comes the question, what is the purpose of the life? What is the purpose of my life? So this question itself is invalid. When this question comes to our head, we try to get into the answer. We try to quickly move into the search for the answer. We never question whether this question is valid, is it authentic, or is this question invalid? For me, in my revelations, this question is invalid, because what I realized, felt, was that this question is coming out of the mind. There is no purpose. The purpose is just coming out of this reason wanting to also approach life with its ability of reasoning and raising this question as, what is the purpose of my life? That's revelation number 1. Revelation number 2, reasoning, this approach is so short. You cannot approach life with just reasoning. There was a scientist who once trained 4 frogs to give a command, and on that command the frogs jumped. He had trained those frogs to jump. Whenever the scientist said jump, all the frogs jumped. Since he was a scientist, he was an expert in reasoning, he wanted to conduct an experiment. So he cut one of the legs of these frogs and then said, jump. The frogs, all of the 4 frogs jumped. He noted down in his diary, in his experiment, a data point that yes, the frogs jumped when I said jumped. Then he continued his experiment. He was curious with his reasoning. He cut the 2nd leg of the frog as well. And then again said jump, and the frogs somehow again jumped. And then he again noted down in his diary, after cutting the 2nd leg, the frogs jumped. He continued the experiment, cut the 3rd leg of the frogs again jumped, noted down in the diary, and then he cut the 4th leg of the frogs as well. And he said jump, the frogs did not jump. And then he said, Eureka, I made a discovery today. There was a lab assistant next to him. He said, what's the discovery? He said, after cutting 4 legs of the frog, they are deaf. That's the reasoning, that's the logic which he had, and we often go on that path as well, unknowingly. We try to approach everything with the reason. Reason is good for utilitarian things, but to approach life, reason falls short. It's like taking or trying to empty the ocean with a bucket. You try one by one, with bucket by bucket, trying to empty the ocean. Reason is that small as compared to the entirety of life. If you want to approach life, you have to, for a moment, let go of the reason. For a moment, you have to let go of the purpose. You have to approach life with full consciousness, not just with the mind, not just with the reason, not just with the purpose. 3rd revelation is, even if, let's say, there is a purpose, let's say reason cannot reach it, but there is some grand purpose which we all have. What do we do when we don't know what that is? We try to fill that with our own version of it, because our mind does not like a void. When there is this void created, we immediately try to fill it with something, and in that process we are serving our ego, our desire, or somebody else's ego or somebody else's desire. If you say, the purpose of my life is to change this world, even as big a purpose as you might take, what is it doing? It's just serving your ego, nothing else. Or serving a desire. If you uncover all that you call as purpose is nothing but serving ego, desire, this obsession with ego, desire, mind, logic, reasoning. Meditation is that opportunity to drop that obsessiveness about reasoning, about mind, and be in a space where you can leave the mind aside and just be like this rose petal in the palm of your hands. Just be in existence like the rose petal in the palm of your hands. That's how you have to be. How to do this as a meditation today? Simple 3 steps. The first step, we're going to observe, we're going to watch this rose petal in the palm of our hands, how purposelessly it's there, without any purpose. You're just going to observe it and be with it, be in tune with it, be with it, let the petal be with us. And just for 5 to 10 minutes, just observe it. That would be step number 1. When you have done that, then you will close your eyes and you will have the same quality of observation, that purposeless observation about your own inner world, and be with your own self purposelessly, without any purpose, without any reason. Just be with yourself, be aware of yourself, be conscious of yourself, keeping your eyes closed for another 10 to 15 minutes. When you will do that, you will feel that there is a void, an empty space created inside of you. What you have to do is, you have to not fill that empty space. You don't have to fill that empty space immediately with something to do, and just remain silent. Maintain that void, be in that void, be aware of that void, be conscious of that void, very silently, very quietly, without moving too much, without getting disturbed, without disturbing others. Stay silently for another 10 minutes and sit in silence within that void that is created when you sit purposelessly in silence, in awareness, in meditation. These are the 3 steps before we sit in meditation. Another request I have is, we are sitting as a group here. The silence that we create, the energy of silence that we create here, each one of us is responsible for that. If one of us is disturbed, is somehow moving, or is somehow restless, everyone is restless, everyone is disturbed. So let's try not to be the reason, be the cause of disturbing this group silence, this wonderful meditative silence, meditative energy that creates when all of us come together here and sit quietly and sit in silence for the next minutes to come. With that, let's begin the meditation by keeping our eyes open, and you can put your head down if you like. Keep your back straight. Shoulders down. Just purposelessly observe this rose petal in the palm of your hands. As you observe, allow your breath to settle, your body to settle, your mind to settle. Just observe the rose petal in your palm. Laying silently. Purposelessly. Allow your awareness to settle on the rose petal. Simply observing the rose petal without any purpose. Close your eyes, put your head up, just the way you observe the rose petal. Observe yourself, your inner world, without any purpose. Keep your awareness inwards. And be like the rose petal in the palm of existence. Keep your awareness inwards. There's no purpose of any thought. Remain aware of yourself as you were aware of the rose petal. Let the silence in you grow as you remain aware of yourself. In these moments, there is no purpose of any thought. Silent void grows in you. Allow it to grow. Allow your silence to become deeper. Let yourself go in the silence deeper and deeper. Maintain this awareness and silence. Without any purpose. Be a rose petal in the palm of existence. Silent, restful, centered, aware. Let yourself go in the silence. Remain purposeless, silent, and aware. Without waiting for anything to end. Anything to change. Anything to become. Be like a rose petal in the palm of existence. Very gently and slowly bring your awareness back to your body. Notice your silent body, your silent mind. And very slowly and gently, you may open your eyes or keep them closed for another few minutes. If you wish to move your body, you can stretch now. And take another couple of minutes to reflect on your experience, to absorb the silence, the meditativeness, the awareness. And the purposelessness of it all. So far, I have been talking in this session. Now is a chance to hear from you, or for you to speak, to share. If something comes up in your mind, in your consciousness, anything you would like to share with the rest of the group. If you have any questions about the session, about the topic, about anything else, these are the minutes for you. Yes?
How should you go with sensations in the body? So like when you feel like, oh, I need to move a little my body, or if you have a little knee pain because you're sitting that long, should you try to just don't focus too much on it, or should you try to move a little, or should you go with that?
What do you think? What is right for you in that moment?
Moving.
If you, in that moment, feel that you have to move, then move. In that moment, if you feel that it's going to go away, it's just some disturbance, because the body is not used to sitting still. It always wants to move, just like the mind always wants to move. So there's no guideline. You decide in that moment what you want. If you want stillness, let it be. If you feel that no, that needs to be addressed now, then it needs to be addressed now. Then there is, to go against it is also not bringing anything. And with practice and with time, you will see that calling from the body, asking for your attention, like a child. You've seen a child in the house, all it wants is attention, constantly. And don't do it with the child, but at least with the body, if you stop giving the attention, slowly it stops asking you for attention. And pain and this sensation or some kind of tickling or anything, these are ways in which body is calling your attention. And your mind, your consciousness, your awareness is so much stronger than your body, not in the sense of dominance, but in the sense of that if you are with just your awareness somewhere, it doesn't matter what the body is asking for, if you allow it to happen. So try that. Let me know if there is still pain. If it's something that is structural in your posture, then we can talk about that. Well, thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Any other experiences to share? Any feelings?
How do you bring purposelessness into your daily life and all the purpose that we have and that you have in your daily life?
I'm glad that you asked that question. That part is important, very important part of the session today. That yes, understood purposelessness, but how do I bring that purposelessness in my daily life, where I have to go to work and I can't go there and say I'm purposeless, so now let's work. Cannot happen like that. In wisdom traditions, and I will first refer to wisdom traditions and then also maybe if there is an opportunity share my personal way of dealing with it, is that one mode of mind, one mindset is this purpose driven, there is an objective, the mind is trained to have something as an objective, something as a reason, something as a purpose, and then it knows what to do. We haven't trained the mind in any other way. But when we were children, when we played in the garden or with other kids, that play, that was purposeless, yet there was an act in it. Yet there was a drive in it. The drive is there, the act is there, but there is purposelessness. And if you put them together, they are known as play. So in wisdom traditions, life is considered as lila, a play. The word lila in Sanskrit, in Hindi, refers to as play. And you don't have to imbibe that as a philosophy. You have to realize it. You have to feel it. You have to bring it in your own experience. How do you do that? When you have more distance from everything, even to the closest thing that you call as purpose, even if you put that aside, there will be a moment of fear, because if there is no purpose, maybe there is nothing left to live for. There is suddenly something false, so there is fear, because we only know the drive, we only know the act out of a sense of purpose. But there is still drive and act possible when there is a distance, and from the distance, not only your daily act, but the interconnectedness of that act to the whole act that is there in the world. When you see that happening, you see that it's just a play. Not that it's an assumption it's a play, but you'll see that it's a play. And what you could do in a play is to act, is to play fully, is to go in the play and play as strong, hard, 100% as you want, but always with this awareness that it's a play. Always with this distance, this disinvolvement. Involvement as a play, but disinvolvement as a purpose. We are trained in our education only in this one way of purpose, objective, only the way of the mind, the way of reasoning, the way of the rational. It is very, very powerful, because you have a sense of something solid in your hand to hold on to, grasp onto, and it's easier to manage that way. But to manage things without having the hold on of it, grasp of it, without having the solidity of the reason and the purpose of it, it's still possible. Try it. Try it. You have never tried it. Maybe this is a chance to give it a try, to be at a distance, observe, and let the play of these different entities during your daily life come out. And if you need just a push for a start, you can also visualize it a little bit as a play, and then you'll see that suddenly it starts really appearing, it starts revealing itself as a play. And I'm repeating myself, it's not a philosophy. That's where I can speak for my daily experience. I'm not sitting in the Himalayas just meditating and doing nothing else. I have a regular job, just like everyone else here, doing the same things that everyone does. And what I can share from my experience is that it really changes the perspective how you look at things. You get involved, you do things, but you also remain uninvolved, unidentified. And that's why we need meditation, to remind ourselves, to pull ourselves out. If we are too much in the play and there is a chance of forgetting about that it's a play, you come out. You come out, you sit down. The moment you sit down, in a few minutes, you're out of it. And then you can go back in, do the play, come out of it. That's what I can offer you for now as one of the ways. But it's always, there are always 1 million ways, thousands of ways to look at the same thing. Hope that it gives you something to contemplate about when you look at things purposelessly and try to still grasp them and bring it into your life. Thanks for your question. It was very important to touch upon in this session. Any last comments, questions? If not, I would like to thank all of you for sharing your silence, your meditativeness, your awareness with me, with this group, in this Monday evening meditation session, and hope that you can take this sutra back, not just for your meditation, but to your life, to be like a rose petal in the palm of existence. Meditate over it whenever you get a chance. Namaste.